Cheers. Good evening, everyone, if anyone's watching me. And welcome to my live. Hi. You posts about my tattoos, but I'm waiting for Ellis to join. Hopefully she can. Hi, everyone. So this evening, I am attempting to do something new. I am attempting to join forces with Ellis, who is a TikTok friend on here. I've invited her to the live, so hopefully she will join me very soon. Hi. Keep saying audio only. Okay, how do we figure this out? Let me invite you. Hi guys, if anyone's watching and knows how to allow me to add people into this, let me know, because I'm trying to bring Ellis into this. Hi Connor, hi Diamond Rose. Co-host with the creator. Oh, here we go. Just trying to figure out how I can invite Ellis. I think Ellis, you need to request to join me, if you can figure that out. The guest needs to click the multi-guest box and then you should be able to accept them. Aha, thank you, TJ. Hi, Ariane from the Philippines. Is it very late in the Philippines or very early? Oh my gosh, Ellis, hang on, we have to figure this out. Normally I get a pop-up request saying someone has requested to join my video, and normally I decline them. But Ellis, I want to accept. TJ, it's the small icon at the bottom that's got the outline of two people in pink and blue. Do I click on it, TJ, or does Ellis click on it? Help us with our lack of live knowledge. Aha, accept. Connecting. Ellis?
Has this worked?
I can hear you.
Can you see me though?
Yeah, but you're like...
I'm so small.
I see you bigger?
Oh, that's not a problem for me.
No, you vanished.
No, I don't know if I need to go live in my own account.
Do you think you need to go live and then...
Maybe. Because I'm like a little postage stamp on this live.
Am I small on yours? Or are you just small on...
I'm
are you small on your own one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not right. We need to be like split screen.
That's what I thought it would be like.
Okay. Do you want to try going live on yours and we try and...
Let me see if that makes a difference. And if not, I'll come back and we'll just do it this way.
No. I want split screen.
Okay.
Because
I don't even know how to leave. I think I'm stuck here. How do you... I don't know how to do this.
You're stuck forever. Hang on. What if I invite you to Hang on. What if I invite you to co-host? No, hang on. I don't want to turn off your camera.
Okay. I'll wait just now.
Switch. Oh, hang on. I've just turned my camera around. That's not helpful. Now everyone can see the wall behind me. Go live together. Let me go into my settings. Panel, grid, switch.
Oh, that looks right. That looks so much better.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Let me turn my volume up so I can hear you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice to see
I have
you.
been so nervous about this. I know you
Oh,
too.
oh no, don't be nervous. It's always a bit weird, but it's actually really lovely to be able to speak to someone because normally I just talk
Yeah.
to myself, and that's I
Oh
think
no,
even more.
definitely. I need to turn you up because I cannot really hear
Yeah,
you.
turn me
Oh,
up.
there you go. My volume is so low.
Oh, well, everyone who's watching, this is Ellis. She's joined me. Ellis, where in the UK are you based?
Edinburgh.
Ah, in Edinburgh. Cool. Oh, I love
Yeah.
Edinburgh. It's the most beautiful city.
Have you been much?
I used to come up for the Fringe lots. So went up and I performed in the Fringe many, many years ago.
Did
And
you? Doing what?
it was an Irish play. Oh my gosh, I've
Oh,
forgotten what it was. That's terrible. I've forgotten the name. I played an Irish woman. Don't ask me to do an Irish accent because my accent
I
was.
was doing that.
I'll let you
First thing I was going to ask.
stick with your beautiful accent and then not try and do one. But it was amazing, and I loved the vibe of the Fringe, and just amazing. Although, is it annoying as a local when sort of the
Yeah,
town
I
plays no?
absolutely detest it. Trying to move about anywhere. I was booked in for a tattoo like the first day of the Fringe this year, and it was a nightmare. But it's good for the nightlife because all the clubs and stuff stay open till like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I remember
So we like it
finding.
for that, or we
Yeah,
used to.
yeah. Oh, that's very cool. What tattoo were you getting?
It's a little rose on my arm. I'm actually going to get it touched up on Sunday because it's healed strange, but it was for my granny. I don't even know if you can see that. It's very small,
Yeah, yeah, I
but
can
it's
see
healed
that.
very patchy.
Oh,
So I'm going to go and
is
get it
it just
touched
black and
up.
grey line work?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I found that I've got a small new one on my ankle, and again black and grey line work, and it's almost like they need a second go at it.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think that's it. If it's fine line.
I think so because I think with the fine line they don't always. Maybe I'm not a tattoo artist, but maybe they don't know always how deep to go with it, and you don't want to go too deep because then that just looks awful on that really delicate. But yeah. So I've followed your channel for ages. I love it so much. People hopefully watching us, you guys can go check out Ellis's videos. But why did you start your channel? What led you to decide to start it?
I've been on an absolute mission with this app, and I think it's like everyone else. I downloaded this in lockdown, like the very first lockdown we had. And I hadn't had Vine or anything before that, so I didn't really know what this was. And the first thing I ever did on this app, it's so embarrassing. If you were ever to go to the bottom of my page, you would find it. It's videos that I did about different ways you can get scammed in different countries abroad.
Okay.
And I don't ever know why I started doing that, but it led to me doing about 100 parts of it because the videos just did really well.
Yeah.
And then I gave up with that. My next venture was true crime, and I did that for quite a long time, and I really enjoyed doing that. But my line of work is actually criminal justice. So it got to a point with that where I was like, I cannot do this Monday to Friday, listen to all these horrible things that are going on, and then come back and do it at the weekends and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So then I thought, what else can I do that's absolutely horrible? Do you know what I mean? I clearly like the sort of darker side of content. So I'd seen this thing on Twitter that was like, these are like the most disturbing horror films you could ever imagine. Like, do not watch them under any circumstances or whatever. So I watched one of them and I made one video about it, and then people started saying all of these other ones that I could watch, and so from there it just kind of snowballed,
Yeah.
and it is what it is today. So it started. The point of it initially was supposed to be watching these really disturbing films, but it's turned into me just kind of watching anything that's got the horror label on it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we move. It's fun. It's good fun.
It's fascinating, and I mean, we did. You ever used to watch what's that TV show, Gogglebox? Is it called Gogglebox, where people watch people watching
Yeah, I
TV?
love that.
And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's like the voyeuristic aspect of watching someone with their natural reactions to it, which is why it's so interesting to watch your reactions to it. And the funny thing with horror movies is that I it changed when I became a mum, probably. But before I could watch really horrible, gory slasher stuff, and it didn't faze me. Whereas now I probably have developed more empathy having had a baby, and I struggle with that. So when I'm working, I have like a big screen, and if I'm doing data processing, so pulling in admin or stuff that I don't need to engage my brain with, on my split screen, I will listen to horror movies, but I won't watch
Right.
them. So it's my kind
Yeah.
of therapy to listen to the movie, but if I watch it, it stresses me out. So that's why I really like your videos, because I get to watch it without actually watching it.
Know what happens. A lot of people say that actually. It's quite funny. A lot of people are like, I do not want to watch this, but I love to know what happens in it. But I have had a lot of people as well that have kids themselves and they're exactly the same as you. They can't watch anything. Whereas I'm getting to the stage that absolutely nothing phases me at all. It's quite worrying.
Do you think you've become numb to it because you've seen so much of it?
Yes and no. The one thing I can't deal with, like even now, this week I've been to the cinema and I still have to hide when I think there's going to be something jumping out at me. I can't deal with it
Okay, so
at
it's the
all.
jumps that gets you.
Yeah, massively. I don't like it could be any level of like disturbing thing on that screen and it doesn't bother me at all. But as soon as there's a bit of suspense and you know something's coming, I'm like, no,
Okay, so
this
what?
can't.
So it's jumpy kind of in any kind of horror, or is there a particular genre that still affects you?
Probably, well, any kind, but I don't do well with ghosts and like CGI scary faces. So
Okay.
if you think about The Nun, The Conjuring, things like that, where everything's just it, that's what I don't do well with at
Okay,
all.
but those movies are so insidious, hence, and also the movie Insidious. Like, there's that kind of undertone to it. And I read that a lot of the sound designs on these movies, because many years ago, I owned a production company. It was in fitness, nothing to do with the horror movie making, but I worked with a lot of soundies, and they worked on, all sorts, and they were explaining to me that they'll often, I'm sure you know this, put these sort of undertones and sounds that we can't always dictate, our ear doesn't necessarily hear, but our bodies feel, and they use those effects a lot on horror movies to make you feel uncomfortable, and you don't quite know why. And I think those kind of movies have that sort of ominous, insidious feeling to them.
Yeah, it works definitely. Like with a lot of James Wan's film, he does Insidious and Saw.
Okay.
It is just the soundtrack alone. There doesn't even have to be any visuals, and there's like a massive jump scare. I think it is Insidious at the start when the title comes up on the screen and it's just like really sudden string instruments. It
Yeah.
is horrifying, and it's just a word on the screen. It's so bizarre, but no, it is. It's a lot to do with the soundtrack, and I'm learning that. But there is a huge difference, like watching a scary film in a cinema with the surround sound. It's really loud, the big massive screen. You're in the dark, whereas I watch the films in broad daylight with the volume quite low. So I think I need to challenge myself a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're right. The setting that you're in and the darkness of the cinema, and the surround sound and all of that is going to add to the. Have you ever seen any like ghost stories in theatres or like plays?
Yeah. Oh my God, I saw The Woman in Black in a theatre in Edinburgh. Have you
Isn't
seen
it?
it?
Oh my!
Oh,
I saw it like about 5 times. It scared the shit out of me, and
oh
then
my
I
God,
invited
it's
all my friends to scare them all too.
I had to have a lot of wine going into that. Have you seen there's one in London, I think it's in Edinburgh at the moment, but it's called 222. It's kind of
Yes,
relatively new.
it's so
That
good.
was the same. It was really
Really
good,
good.
but oh
Yeah.
my God. That again was like the use of sound, wasn't it? Because it often like cut out at the end of a scene and it would just be that scream, and
Yeah.
that got me every single time.
And I think that's amazing when theatre can scare you, because we
Yeah.
accept that cinema has the power to create these worlds, but then when you're sat there in the audience and you've got these actors and your adult brain is going, this is a play, but then you
Yeah.
still can get scared. I think that's incredible. The Woman in Black's
Yeah.
amazing, although the film was not very good in my opinion.
I didn't think it was good, but that is one film that really scares me, and it's only a 12A, and I hate Daniel Radcliffe with an app. I don't know what it is about him. He really rubs me up the wrong way.
I think it's because you can't
And the film, well, the film didn't hold a candle to the theatre thing, but I saw the film first, and I thought it was terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm easily scared. This is the thing. I see a lot of other people do stuff about horror films, and I don't think they're easily scared, whereas I am like so soft with it.
But I think your reactions to it are genuine, and the fact that you are still being affected by it is what makes it enjoyable to, to watch your videos. So thank you for taking one for, particularly for the team, for me, because I can't cope. I find them too
It
stressful now.
suffers.
And whenever
Yeah,
I
no, I really
I
enjoy
had a
it.
new team member join my company about a month ago, and
Mm.
I said to her, when when you get into the the ropes and you're underway and you've got on top of your training, you can put some music on when you're doing data processing. And I said, or if you're like me, you can listen to horror movies because that sort of chills me out. And she's just like looking at me like, do I really want to come and work for this woman?
It's so weird though how it does that because I'm the same in that I can't fall asleep unless I've got a true crime thing playing on YouTube.
Oh,
It,
really?
it, like it zens me out. So it's weird that you're kind of the same like that.
Yeah.
I think that we're a bit unhinged.
There's the darkness. So, okay, so what would be your, oh, Ellis, where have you gone? Oh, you're back.
Where did I go then?
You vanished. So if you then you've seen so many, but if you had to pick one as being like the most disturbing, what would it be?
I get asked this all the time, and it's really hard to say because there's a lot of films that I comment on as being really scary or disturbing, and people say, "Oh, that's so tame." Like, because people are out here watching stuff that's like near enough on the dark web that I wouldn't even touch. There's a lot of well-known things on this. I'm sure. Have you seen the iceberg of horror films?
No, I
And it's
haven't.
like the deeper you go. So it's like this picture of an iceberg, and it's like what you see above the water is like your
Okay.
sort of standard horror films that we know about.
Yeah.
And the deeper you go, the more off grid and weird and horrible they get to the point where they're not sure if the ones at the very bottom are like actual snuff
Yeah.
films or not.
Awesome.
So I don't watch things like that, and people keep recommending things like that to me, saying that this is a real disturbing thing that you should watch, and I'm like, I don't want to see it. So
No.
for me, I always say it's the second Human Centipede film. That film has so many like horrible it's got a lot of dynamics to it. It's not really like in your face scary, but all the sort of implications that you get with it. It doesn't. Oh, I'm saying it doesn't show you anything. It absolutely does. The Human
Yeah.
Centipede films are minging, but there's a lot that comes with it that I don't know what you're actually allowed to say on live, so I won't say it. But it goes a lot deeper than that,
Okay.
than just sort of your bog standard like gore. A lot of people think those films are just gore, but that film for me is the one film that has really sent a shiver down my spine, and I watched it when I was, younger, when they were first sort of coming out, and then I did it again for a video, and I hadn't seen it in years, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually really bad.
Yeah. Do you know what is
That is my one.
so funny about that answer is that my most disturbing film of all time is the number one, The Human Centipede, the first one.
Did,
And I
did you ever
haven't
watch
watched the
beyond
second
that?
one because
No,
I point
don't.
blank refuse. Because the first one I found so upsetting, and so it stayed with me. And that's what I found really distressing because, most movies, even the really awful slasher ones and stuff, and they're violent, but you kind of, your brain processes it, but it almost was like I was partially traumatized from watching it. And I would rethink about it. And now if I even start to, which I'm not going to think about it, it makes me start to feel quite sick. And
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah, disturbing, but really interesting that you also feel the same about, well, the second one, which I'm not going anywhere near.
It's almost like the people who made that film, because I think it's the same director throughout the three. I'm not sure about writers, but definitely director. It's almost as if they brought out this first one, it caused mass sort of hysteria, and then they thought, right, how much worse can we make it?
Oh
The
God.
second one is worse than the third one in my opinion, but the third one as well is a very difficult watch.
Okay, I'm not going
It's
anywhere near it.
awful.
Do you know how I cured
No,
my
don't.
trauma over it? Is I went on, I don't know, YouTube or whatever, and I watched the mistakes. So every film has often B-roll of things that went wrong. And there is one scene where in the first movie, he's carrying one of the girls over his shoulders from the car. I think he's drugged her or he's knocked her out or something. And in the B-roll retakes, the girl wakes up and she's like wiggling, and the male actor puts her back down. And so I had to watch the mistakes to allow my brain to realize that it wasn't real. And that was
Yeah.
helpful if you still have trauma.
Okay, so I didn't know they would have the sort of bloopers, I suppose, for films like that, but that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. So that I don't know if they have it for number 2 and 3, but it helped me just process that it was not real. Which
Yeah.
is, yeah, that's full on. So, what's the most recent horror movie you've watched, or if you can talk about it, if you haven't, if that won't reveal any secrets.
I have just posted one before I came on this live, and I
Okay.
can't remember what it is
It was something about
because I
Bridget Jones.
yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah, it was
yeah,
Case 39.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is again probably arguably more of a thriller. Have you seen that one?
Mhm.
No. So Bridget Jones, the woman who plays her, she's a social worker in this film, and there's a little girl and she's being abused. So she someone just said Case 39 is awful. No.
Oh, Tame
Well,
thinks it's
maybe.
boring
I
and
like it though.
cliche. Mm.
But no, it's about the social worker that takes on an additional case, and it's a little girl that's getting sort of like abused at home. She manages to get her away from the parents. She actually takes her into her own care, but then it turns out that the little girl is like a demon.
Oh,
Yeah, see now I say it. See now I say the plot of that film out loud. I understand why people are saying that's awful. But I had a great time.
yeah, but I mean, you could read the duality of that. And now I'm going to get deep in all the English literature on you. But there's the concept that children in the care system are often not taken in because people are worried that they'll be damaged in some way, and there's a taboo. And I have always wanted to adopt. And I've looked into it with my husband, and it's really, really difficult. And we would have a priority because my husband's mixed race, so they tend to prefer to place, mixed race children, of which there are more in the care system, with families who are mixed race, and it's still incredibly difficult for us. And I think that you could read that the duality of all these horror movies are based on fact and fiction, right? So the fact that the little girl is actually a demon is, perhaps a perception of other people's fears. But now I'm analyzing it, having not even seen
You
it.
do what I do better than me. I just sit there and I'm like, oh, that's brutal, and that's the end of my commentary.
Yeah, but everyone would get bored with my commentary because they'd be like,
No,
"Oh shit,
I
seriously."
wouldn't. No, that's actually a really good point. I did not think of that at all. Oh, see, when you watch this video now, you're going to be like, she is talking such a load of shite.
No. But was it good? Did you see it at the cinema?
No, I don't know when this one came out.
Oh, okay.
This is an old
A
one.
while ago.
Yeah,
I watched last night in honor of today. I watched the new but not new Hellraiser.
never seen it.
Oh God.
What is that about? Because I've seen the poster for it and I thought it looked a bit aliens for me. Is
It,
it?
so have you seen the first one?
No. I know. I'm such a fraud, Lucy.
No,
I've not seen
no.
anything.
Okay, your next video at some point needs to be on Hellraiser
Right,
1.
I will do it.
I can't promise it will scare you though, because it's a really old. It was 80s movie.
They can be the scariest ones, though.
But it was like we were talking about Insidious and all of those movies. It's got this just uncomfortable vibe. But then I remember watching it a long time ago. Not when it came out, I'm not that old, but when I was at an age where I could get my hands onto it. But it left you feeling uncomfortable. So I'd be really intrigued to know what you think of watching it. Whereas the new one that came out, I think a few years ago, or a year or two ago, so the director in the original one, and I'm not going to spoil too much of it, so that hopefully you watch it, tends to do things quite close up. So there's hints of things, but you don't always see. It's like the full reveal of the monster, right? Once you see the monster, it's no longer scary. And in the new one, the director, for some reason, we're going to have words with him. We'll bring him into our next live, shall we? And discuss why he made these director choices. He does these wide shots the whole time. So you see these latex covered actors walking towards the character that they're going to, kill. And in that, true Hellraiser splendor, but it's not scary because it's like you're like, that's a dude dressed in a latex suit.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he made it like that. or she, but I think it was a male director. So yeah, it was disappointing. I got bored.
Oh.
But the lead guy is the sexy doctor from ER, I think he was. So that was worth watching it for.
I thought you were going to say Grey's Anatomy, then I would have known what you were talking about, but I've not seen
Yeah,
ER.
he's the I'm revealing my age. ER was before Grey's Anatomy.
Well, it's interesting though what you say about not revealing the monster, because I think that the this is, have you seen the Blair Witch Project, the 90s one?
A long, long time ago.
Well, that doesn't ever reveal anything. It's a found footage horror.
Yes, it was the first in its type, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
It was
everybody thought it was
groundbreaking.
real.
Ah, okay.
Or so I remember reading, because it came out in 1999, I think. So I didn't see it till years later. But a lot of people, there's such a not a controversy, but a split of opinion. People saying it's the worst thing they've ever seen, and people saying it's the best thing they've ever seen.
Okay.
And
But
I
worse
think it's
probably because they're comparing it to. I'm just grabbing a bottle of what of bubbles. Excuse me. Worse because there was nothing like it, so they were expecting a movie with movie values, and then saw like a home video.
actually going to do exactly the same. But yeah, I think some people don't like it when everything's left to the imagination, whereas I agree with you. I think that is the scariest type of film, or whatever you could watch,
Yeah.
which is exactly what that film does.
Yeah, Blair Witch. Very, and then they copied it a lot.
Yeah, they did. It's everywhere now.
Yeah. Do you know what was your first ever horror movie you watched as a child?
So me and my granny used to watch scary things all the time. I hold her entirely responsible, even though may she rest in peace. I can't physically hold her responsible, but it was from a very young age. I used to stay at her house every weekend, and we used to watch The Shining, the Kubrick,
Yeah.
and that was from when, I don't know, the age of 6 for me. And you've seen it, right? You know the bit with the woman in the bath.
Oh my God. How did you
Literally.
sleep at night?
I didn't. I just didn't. But I used to think, my granny used to always say, "Oh, The Shining, that's the best horror film to exist." I'm like, right, put it on then, at the age of 6. And we used to watch it every time I stayed for weeks and weeks and weeks. You would pay for it. Remember how you used to have to pay for everything
Yeah.
because there was no streaming services. And we would put it on, and I would be like equally terrified of it as I was engrossed in it. And then I went on. Have you read the book?
I haven't read the book. No. Is the book good?
10 times better than the
Okay.
film, and I love the film.
Okay, I'll read the book.
The
I
book's
like reading.
But yeah, it was that. And at the same time, I was of an age to be watching Scooby Doo. So we also used to watch Scooby Doo, this one where they went to this island of zombies, and that scared me as well.
Oh my God. What did you think of not the remake, but the sequel they did to it? What was it called with Ewan
Doctor
McGregor?
Sleep.
Doctor Sleep? Strange, whatever.
Doctor Sleep, I think.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah.
I didn't like that film until the end where they went back to the Stanley Hotel. That was the
Yeah.
only part I enjoyed.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I was just like, this is shite.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was really good at the end when he went back and you're like, and that gave you proper reminiscent,
Yeah.
deja vu of the original movie.
I loved that part, but I thought, no, I thought the film could have just went without existing.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
book's good, of Doctor Sleep as well as The Shining.
Okay, all right. I'll have to read both of them. So my first horror movie was The Fly.
I've heard of this.
Have you not seen it?
I don't like flies.
Okay. Well, yeah, dude, Jeff Goldblum, how do you say his surname? Him. Yeah. And he experiments on himself, and then he turns into a fly, man fly, human fly. Oh my God. I was so, I'm trying to think how young I was, maybe 10, 11. And I don't know how I got my hands on what was probably a VHS, or it was on TV late at night and I snuck down to watch it. I was so disturbed. It was just, yeah, there's one moment where he sort of, how flies throw up to eat the food, apparently. I'm not a fly expert, but apparently they do.
Yeah.
And he vomits and like it's just so disturbing. And then there's this sequence where she's asleep and she dreams that she's giving birth to like this fly thing, And I mean, that stayed with me for a long time. And after that, I was just like, I'm not watching another horror movie. And then I watched The Thing 3 years later, the original one. And that also scared the bejesus out of me. And then I was like, I need to stop doing this to myself because I'm traumatizing myself. Oh, God. Have you seen the original Thing?
No, I have not seen that either. When did these films come out? Because these are like, they're quite old,
They
eh?
are old. They are old. So, but well, I was born in the 80s, so they were probably in the 90s, early noughties.
Oh, that's a lot later than I thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think so. They've remade The Thing, but I don't know if it's any good. But the original one was terrifying. I think 'cause so much of it was done back then with like real puppets and things. You know, they had to really create it. Whereas now CGI has given them, sometimes it looks too real fake, if you know what I mean. It's not, it's so real, it's not believable anymore. Whereas when they had to really work for it, like the old Star Wars movies and things, you know, they had to use really interesting techniques to create the realism.
Yeah.
But have we got you've got some things to have to add to your list.
That's where I'm lacking is the classics. I've seen nothing. And people get so disappointed in me in my comments. They do say like, "How have you not seen this?" And I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm one of these people that picks a film and sticks with it for 6 months and I just put the same thing on over and over again. And I don't know what that's about, but I need to start branching out.
So you like watching the same movie over and over if you really
Oh,
like it?
100%. It's really strange.
Yes, more unusual. Yeah. I'm trying to think of movies I've seen over. Okay, The Lost Boys. You probably haven't seen that either.
Is that a Peter Pan thing?
No, no, it's a vampire thing. It's like
Oh.
the original vampire. It like started the vampire scene. So I used to read a lot of horror literature when I was younger. I read all of Stephen King, Laurel K. Hamilton. Like I had a whole. I loved reading, and yeah, the vampire scene following Bram Stoker. The Lost Boys was the first movie that became very mainstream and romanticized the idea of vampires. So all the Twilight and all the kind of sexy vampires like we know it came from the Lost Boy movie creation, because that's an 80s movie. But it's just, I watched that over and over again and decided that I wanted to be a vampire at age 21. Sadly, didn't happen. I have continued to age, but thankfully I don't have to drink blood. So, you know.
There's worse things. I love Twilight, I must say. I'm an
Yeah,
absolute Twilight stan.
yeah, they were good movies. What did you think of the Vampire Diaries?
Oh, I don't like that.
Too tweeny.
If my friend is watching this right now, like it's her favorite thing in the world, I can't. I can't. I don't know what it is about it, because I have watched some terrible series in my life, but I've tried to watch The Vampire Diaries maybe about 8 times, and I've never made it past like episode 2.
Yeah. You see, I read the books as a kid and they were really good. And
Sometimes I
then,
love books.
yeah, there were three original books, The Vampire Diaries 1, 2, and 3. And then they obviously turned it into the series as we know it. Um, but and random fact, I was almost cast as one of the actors on the show.
I saw you do a TikTok about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How? So how? Tell me more about that.
So it was years ago, and I was in London, and I was doing some acting. So I was going to castings, and I'd been in some films and doing some voiceover work, and just trying to make it inform part of as an actor. But I also had a business that I had started and was running on the side, and because I needed to eat occasionally, and the actor's life is not one that is always in line with paying your bills. And I went to a workshop, and the guy running it was the casting director. He'd flown over from Los Angeles, and he was the casting director for the show. And at the end of the workshop, he came up to me and said, I'd really like you to read for a part. And I was like, okay. And so I read for the part, and we stayed in contact, and then it got down to 2, and then he said I hadn't got it. I was like, oh.
Oh my God.
So
So was it quite like a major role?
yeah, it was one of the originals. What was the blonde one called? People watching. Who watched the Vampire Diaries? So there was Klaus, and then his sister, Rebecca. That's
Rebecca.
who it was. Thank you, Kelsey. Rebecca.
Wait, are you seeing comments?
Yes, can you not see comments?
I can't see anything.
You not see, didn't you see questions earlier?
I've had one comment since I joined, and I thought it's just because I'm a loser. But if you're seeing things come in, I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't see questions. Maybe they're only coming up on my feed.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay, I'll read out questions. I didn't realize, I thought you could see them as well.
No, I can't see anything.
No, we've had lots of, now everyone's told me it's Rebecca. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Laura. I will look at the comments now. I was just looking at you.
I wonder, surely I should be able to see them. I don't know how any of this works, to be fair.
No, this can be the first experimenting and then we can figure this out. The next one, if you want to do it again. Apparently Jade is saying you should watch the Oculus. Oculus?
Oh, that's got Karen Gillan in it, I think, who is a Scottish actress who everybody says I sound like. And I thought it was just because I'm from Scotland, but she's also got the kind of deep voice and the exact same, I don't know what my accent is, but she just sounds like me. And it's actually it's strange. But yeah, no, Oculus is, I think it's about mirrors. I'm not entirely sure, but I will get around to that one.
And Jade is now asking, have you seen Arachnophobia?
No, but I no longer have arachnophobia, so cheers to that. I went to a therapy session at the zoo.
Okay. Did you
And I
hold a tarantula?
No, I held a giant house spider.
Oh, well done.
Oh,
So
yeah.
did you have a phobia of spiders then?
Lucy, it ruined my life. Like, my phobia before I went to this thing, I wasn't sleeping at night. Like, see, this year when it came into spider season, I just lay awake all night looking at my carpet. That sounds
Where
like
does this trauma come from?
I don't know. They say it's learned behaviour, don't they?
Yeah,
So they
something
were trying
happened
to,
in your
yeah,
childhood. When you were watching The Shining with your grandmother, were there spiders in the room?
no.
No, well then
I
that has
know it's strange. They did ask you to try and pinpoint.
when it happened.
Yeah, but I was just like, no one else I know is really scared of them. I
So
think it
maybe
was,
don't watch Arachnophobia.
well, yeah, because I wouldn't want to undo that hard work
Don't
of that
relive it.
hypnotherapy that day.
Or call me because I love spiders and my husband will stand screaming if he's watching. No, he's not watching. He's at basketball. He will stand on a going, there's a spider, and I will wander over and pick up the spider and then
You
put it
just
out
do
the
that,
window. Yeah,
even if they're like that big.
yeah. I picked them all up in this country, and then we were on honeymoon in Costa Rica, and we were staying in this like rainforest in this eco lodge in the middle of nowhere down this river that we'd had to whitewater raft to get to. And so this beautiful honeymoon suite had no windows. It was all kind of gauze to let the wind through, right? Because it's warm, it's in the rainforest. And we kept walking into the bathroom one evening, and on the wall is like a massive spider. And Ben was properly freaking out. And I said, well, I realized we're in Costa Rica. I probably shouldn't pick it up because I may actually then die if it bites me and we're in the middle of nowhere. So I said, I'll just go and get a big cup and like put it over it and then we can trap it. And Pep was like, no, step away from the spider. And I said, but I don't want the, it's just a spider. Anyway, he called reception and reception sent a guy and the guy like whacked it with a stick.
Oh
And I
no.
felt really bad for the big spider. Because
See,
I
I
was
wasn't like that.
ready to take him out or her or they.
That's no, that's, were you going to put a cup over it that you couldn't see through?
Well, yeah, any kind of cup, and then you just slide a piece of paper under it and then carry it out.
See the thought of putting, oh nah, I think everything's just come back to me now, all my fears, and I'm scared.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to reach on.
But that is like, I aspire to be like that.
Okay.
That
You
was,
get one of those spider grabby things. Have you seen those?
I have one, it's sitting over there.
It's like I have a baseball bat by the bed. You have your spider's grabby.
I have a baseball bat for the spider. No, I'm joking. I would never hurt them. That's the thing. If I could have just, been able to hurt them, I wouldn't have been scared of them. But I can't even do that. But I wouldn't want to. I don't like it when people do that. It really does make me sad because they're sweet. That's what I learned at that course. They are really sweet.
Yeah, no, I think they're amazing creatures. I love snakes as well. Snakes are
I
amazing.
love snakes.
You do? Okay, so you don't have the same phobia with them.
No, no, because they don't have legs, and I think it's legs that scare me. Not like people's legs, but just like if something has more than four, it shouldn't be happening.
So are you not good with cockroaches?
I've only seen about three cockroaches in my life, And no, because they fly as well, don't they? Some of them.
Yeah, flying cockroaches?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah, no.
sure I've seen a flying cockroach. Maybe I've not.
I woke up once with a cockroach on me.
Oh, where?
I was in Greece. I lived in Athens for 6 months when I was younger, and it was really hot in my apartment. So I would go and I would sleep in the room where the aircon was, which was in the living room. And so one afternoon, like I took a siesta, as you do when you're in a European country. And you know, when you wake up and you have a bit of an itch.
Yeah.
And so I sort of like asleep and I wake up and I can feel I've got something on my tummy, like I itch my tummy. And then the feeling happens again. And I look down and there was a, a massive cockroach like crawling up my stomach. And I screamed and I whacked it off me and it flew across the room. And then I grabbed, as John has just commented, a good old slipper and I like squashed it. But then, of course, cockroaches like splatter. Oh, I was that was just that disturbed me.
What a description. I really enjoyed that. That sounds, oh no, I don't know how I would cope in any country that wasn't this because we're actually quite fortunate if,
Yeah,
if
we
we're
don't have a
seeing
lot of bugs in
bugs.
this country.
I'm sad I can't see the comments. I wish I could.
I know. Well, let's figure it out for next time when
Yeah.
we have. So I wanted to ask. I had a really good idea for a TikTok live. So years ago, I tried to invite my friends to come and stay with me in a haunted house, and no one would come for some reason in this country. I was like, let's go and spend the night, and everyone's like, no. So maybe we could go and do that together.
It's so funny. I would genuinely be so up for that.
We
Like an
can.
actual, like a haunted house attraction, or is it like an Airbnb that is haunted?
Well, if you Google stay in a haunted house in the UK, you find places that you can go that are meant to be very haunted and you can then stay the night there. But they like lock you in the house. I mean, that is the start of a horror movie, particularly if we're live streaming it.
I honestly, I would have no hesitations about doing that. I feel like when people say this, it's like, oh yeah, we'll do it. I'm like, I would book that tonight.
No one would come with me. And I was
It would
like,
be
guys,
so
come on, like nothing's
fun.
going to happen. Do you believe in
Yeah.
ghosts?
Okay, I really want to believe in ghosts, but I've never had an experience ever in my life, but I really want to. How do you feel about Ouija boards and things?
I bought one from America as a teenager because they used to be illegal in this country. I don't know if they still are. So I managed to use somehow. I was quite tech whiz when I was younger. I'm not bad now, but and so I shipped one over from America because they just sell them in toy shops in America. I don't know if they still do, and used it. Nothing happened.
See, I'm very, see when you see videos of people using them,
Have you ever
I
used one?
always, no, I'm too scared, even though
Oh,
I'm sitting here critiquing them saying it's not real, but I wouldn't ever touch one. And this
okay.
is all because my mum once told me never to do it, and I've just been like, okay, and it's just been drilled into me. But no, I would need to try one, I think.
They sell them, I think, now on Amazon.
Yeah, nah. I just don't know how I feel about it.
Ryan is asking us what wine we're drinking.
Oh, I tell you this, right? It's going to my head now. I can't actually string a sentence together. I have a,
Before the night is out, we'll be signing up for our haunted house night and I'll be bringing a Ouija board.
I'll be like, here's the booking confirmation.
Yeah.
I have a little wine shop at the bottom of my street,
Okay.
called Majestic Wines or something like that. And it's only like £7. It's called the Governor. Have you had it?
I have not.
It's a red wine.
Yeah,
My
I like
sister
red wine.
introduced me to this, and I wasn't a big red wine drinker really. And I tried that. It's the most beautiful red wine ever.
Oh, good.
I don't know why
That's
it needed
good
that
to drink.
massive backstory.
No, no, it's good. It's good that you drink red wine. A lot of people don't like red wine.
No.
At least, yeah, and most people go for white or rosé. But
Are you drinking rosé?
I'm yes, bubbles.
I quote that.
Yeah, it's Friday
Nice.
evening.
Exactly.
Jade is telling us that they sell Ouija boards in America. There's a toy company that mass produces them. Yeah, I knew they sell them in toy shops in the States.
They're classed as
Um,
toys.
huh?
They're classed as toys in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. Well, that's because, it's because officially, I don't think governments recognise the existence of ghosts. So in essence, it's a game for kids to play. I mean, again, that's the start of a horror movie, right? Okay, so best male horror movie actor, if you had to pick one.
Uh, oh, I'm trying to think of someone who's appeared in more than one thing. I love Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And that's to go back to The Shining, but he's also in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He is
Yeah.
just so good.
The
Is
Witches
he
of
dead?
Eastwick. Have you seen that?
Which one?
Witches of Eastwick
Oh, I think so. I think I have seen
with the
that.
three women. What was
Yeah,
it? Cher and Michelle
yeah.
Pfeiffer.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays psychotic very well.
Yeah, it's his face. It's because he does the Kubrick stare, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
it got all famous in that sense. Off the top of my head, him.
Okay.
Um,
No, it's a good one. He's classic.
he is.
I think I'd probably, in more recent ones, go for the chap that plays Pennywise.
Oh, Skarsgård. Is it Bill
Yes, Bill something. Something.
Skarsgård?
He's just such like a physical actor. And
Have you
I've
seen
also, have you
Barbarian?
seen those clips of him with the kids when they shout cut? And
No.
they're on TikTok. You must look for them because I like all the behind the scenes stuff. And he'll be like, climbing towards them like he's going to eat them, and then the director will be like, cut, and he's like, so la, 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 la," and he's like really chatty, and the kids like laughing, and then they shout action, and the kids start screaming again, and it's amazing. But he's incredible.
Have
Rachel,
you
Rachel
seen?
agrees with us. She says the Skarsgård brothers are all amazing actors. I didn't realize there was brothers.
If I'm not wrong, and I could be so wrong, he is the son of the man who has the boat in Mamma Mia.
Oh,
I could be absolutely lying.
we will.
Um,
If anyone lets us know, I'll let you know.
no.
Jade's asking if we've watched Split or Vivarium.
Yeah, I've seen both. I've not done a video on Split, but I did do Vivarium recently. Split I really like. I don't know if have you seen it?
I've seen Split, yeah. I
Split's
like
a good film.
Yeah,
James
yeah.
McAvoy is brilliant in everything he
Amazing.
does.
Brilliant acting.
That is a good. I never saw the sequel to it though, did you?
Which one was that? Because it was a series, wasn't it? Is it M. Night Shyamalan?
M Night Shyamalan. Oh no, don't make me say it. I had to look it up on YouTube before I said it in my video the other day.
Shyamalan? I'm
Shyamalan. I think it's M Night Shyamalan is how you say it.
Is that who did Split?
I don't know.
Oh, now I don't know.
I don't think
Oh, here we
that
go.
was M
Dave's
Night
telling us
Shyamalan.
Unbreakable, Split, then Glass.
That's the one. Yeah, Unbreakable is quite an old one, I think.
Unbreakable was Bruce Willis, wasn't it? Who couldn't die.
Yeah, it's something. It starts with a train or something like that.
And then Split was the split personality, and then Glass is when they all come together, and you've got is it Samuel L. Jackson, and he plays the baddie. The last one was good, but it went a bit superhero-y.
Oh, see, nah. That's an ick for me. I don't like superhero
Not
things.
into the sci-fi stuff or superhero
No.
stuff. Yeah. Although I did like The Boys on Amazon, which is superheroes but turned on its head. So they're superheroes, but they're actually all really bad, and they
Oh,
do
it's
awful things,
Mhm.
and they like hurt people terribly. But then, like on the public social media, they're like glamorous and really handsome, Captain America style. But then behind the scenes, they do really dark, twisted things. So that's quite an interesting comment on the concept of social media, but also what we perceive to be good in this world, laced with the parallel of darkness. But it's obviously they're all superheroes, so they can fly and they've got X-ray vision and all of that kind of stuff.
That sounds good.
But it's good. It's very good. There's a brilliant scene where this is to sort of demonstrate how dark it is. He breaks into a nursery where all these babies are being kept, and they're all being given this special serum to turn them into these superheroes. And so the bad guys are the good guys in a sense because they're trying to stop the good guys. And they break in, the bad guys who are actually good, to this nursery, and then the good guys break in who are actually bad, and the lead character picks up a baby which has X-ray vision and then proceeds to fight the opposition with the baby. So he's like holding the baby, and the baby's killing them all with his X-ray vision. And it's quite twisted that he's using a baby to obviously fight his deathly battle, but it's funny in a very weird way. So it's worth watching.
Oh, no, definitely.
Martin's asking where we're from in the UK, but we did establish that, Martin. We'll let you know. From Scotland and down south.
Down south.
Down south. Jade says the comic series is just as brilliant.
For boys.
Oh, it must be The Boys, yeah. Yeah.
The boys.
The Boys. I think it's a good series on Amazon. So if there was, do you think there's any genre of movies in horror movies that could ever come true? Are there any films that you've seen that you watch and you think this could happen in real life? Apart from like the obvious like slasher movies where they actually just kill someone horribly.
It's funny because when you just said that there, the first thing that came to my head is a very old film called Soylent Green. Have you seen or heard of that?
No.
Oh God, I think it could be 70s. Could be,
Okay.
I have no idea. Um, and it's basically about a futuristic, well, whatever was futuristic back then, world where people are now. I could be getting this kind of wrong because I've not seen it in years, and I think even then only watched like a condensed version of it. But there's not enough food to go around, so people are being given this like specially prepared. I think it's like a paste from this factory, and it's called Soylent Green.
Okay.
And it later turns out that that is made from the bodies of people that I think they're killing because of overpopulation.
Oh, wow.
So things like that, you know, when you start to get into like Black Mirror territory,
Yeah.
that's all the things that I kind of think.
Is a possibility. That kind of weird parallel.
Yes.
Yeah. I think The Purge.
Oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think of that. That definitely could happen. We're already almost there with like a world where that's ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see
That's,
the political distress, unhappiness in this country, but also in America and around the world. And obviously in the UK, we don't have access to guns like the States do. And it scares me. And I can almost imagine, a night of the purge being introduced in some twisted way. Yeah, I don't like movies like that. They worry me.
it's just too close to home.
What was your favorite Black Mirror episode?
I love what's it called? I think it's Hang the DJ? No, 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 no. I do like that one though. What's the Shut Up and Dance? I think is a really good one about
What's the name of that one?
the boy who is doing something really bad online and they hack his webcam and they use it against him and make him do all these things. So he has to go and pick up a cake, then take it to a hotel room, and in the hotel room is a guy who's
Yeah.
also been caught having an affair or something.
Yeah.
I also like the one with the snow globe.
Oh, is that the one with the guy from Mad Men? No, that,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
And
the one with the two men in the house.
yeah, the two men in the house, and he goes into their mind to interrogate them.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's the Mad Men guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the one with the computer game, the one where the
Where the two
American
men go
turns
in.
up to test a video game, and he goes into the haunted house.
Yeah. That's a scary one.
I struggled with, and there's a massive spider in it.
I was just about to say that there is a spider in that. That's probably the scariest episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, that was disturbing. That was really scary.
That's always something that would be good to rewatch, I think, because they did bring out a new series kind of recently, which I thought was quite good, but you can't beat the original ones.
My issue with the new series that was on Netflix was one, I felt it was somewhat commercial. So it was all about promoting Streamberry, which was in essence Netflix. And I kept being reminded of that throughout it. And that jarred me out of it. And two, I understand why, but I didn't like the fact that they used famous actors. Because for me, Black Mirror, at least all the ones I'd seen previously, they were more unknowns, and so you can suspend your disbelief easier. And then obviously they've gone on to all have great careers, well, a lot of them. Whereas this time, the one with the Jesse Pinkman, that's not his name, the Breaking Bad guy,
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, incredible actor, but I just spent the whole episode going, that's Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I love Jesse Pinkman and Aaron Paul. same thing. But I love that episode, but I do totally get what you're saying because it does just take away from it. Whereas, yeah, when they used all the new up and coming actors in the original ones, it totally just let you fall into it,
Yeah. And then
which
it
was a
made
lot
you feel
better.
uncomfortable because you kind of thought it was more real. Whereas
Yes,
the new Black Mirrors ones, I really liked the last one with the that was set in, was it the 70s, with the girl that worked in the department store.
that was
Um,
good.
I really liked that one. That was, I think, my favorite of the new series.
And she had, what was it? It was like a big monster. What was the point of that?
Yeah, it was a demon,
A demon.
and then they destroyed the world together, and she went to hell with him at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he turned into kind of the dude with the afro and like,
Yeah. He
yeah,
was
like her
brilliant in it.
fantasy.
He was so good.
Zayats is asking, Perfume, the story of a murderer. I've read the book. I haven't seen the film. Is there a film?
I've never heard of this.
No. It's about a man who kills women with their scent. So he collects scents and then he collects their skin and turns them into perfume. The book's very good.
That sounds good. I would like that.
Yeah.
I like gore.
Yeah. Bara agrees with our opinion on Black Mirror. So what are your plans for next movies? Do you go to the cinema a lot or do you just watch from home?
So the films that I do in my videos, I'm always at home. Sometimes if I'm going to see a new one, like the new Saw film that came out, I'll still sort of do like a, obviously you can't do the same live reactions, but
Yeah.
I do sort of a synopsis and my views at the end of it. But
Did I see you go to the Insidious premiere?
no,
Was it, you went to a
I've been to a
premiere?
few things down in London. I was invited to the Exorcist one,
Ah,
which was last week, I think, but I couldn't go and I was
oh.
gutted about it. But no, not in, I don't think,
Did you do something on Insidious? I'm sure I saw something. You were in a taxi going somewhere. Where were you going?
I'm trying to think if I have done Insidious and I've completely forgotten.
No.
I was going to an event or like a
Yeah,
screening.
I'm sure you got him. Yeah. I could be making this up. No, but no,
There was a new Insidious film recently. I did go to the cinema to see that,
yes.
but it was just me going to the
Oh,
cinema.
okay. Oh, well, you made it like it was like a premiere. We've got to get you to a premiere of these things.
It's
Oh,
so annoying though, like, see, living in Edinburgh, everything I get invited to is in London, and it's like, it's not just like I can just jump on a train and go for the night. It's like I have to get flights and accommodation, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
it's so
it's
annoying.
a mission. Hazel's asking about opinions on The Barbarian.
Loved it. And that's Bill Skarsgård, who is Pennywise, is in that. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
You should watch. That's a really, really good film.
Okay, so I'll add The Barbarian. I'm going to read The Shining
Yes.
and I'm going to watch The Barbarian.
And I'm going to watch
But
Ellis.
it's not like too like I don't like things like Hostel and stuff like that.
Oh, see, I love that, but no, it's not like that.
Okay.
It's not Barbarian. I'm trying to think if there's any gore in that at all. I don't think there is,
I don't
but
mind gore, but I don't just like unnecessary gore.
like, yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. No, it's no, it's got a story, a genuine
Yeah,
story.
it just made me remember when I was years and years ago when I was must have been in my early 20s, years and years, not that long ago, but a while ago. And I was working in London as an actor and also actress, and also running my business. And I auditioned as one of the actors for Thorpe Park. And they were doing a Fright Night thing in Halloween, and they had the Saw ride,
Yeah.
and me and a bunch of actors had to basically scare people going to go on the ride. And then we also got put in this maze, and there was the maze, an asylum, and then there was the seven deadly sins. And I was in the seven deadly sins, and we each had to rotate different rooms. And I was in Lust one night, and that was where I was stationed. And the room was like all set up with this giant bed on it, and I had a mask on, and we basically, as people walk through, you have to scare them. So I'm lying on this bed, and then this group of people walk in, and I wait as they're getting closer, and I get up and I've rushed towards them. And now I don't know if you've ever been to any of these Fright Night things, but they tell the people walking through, don't touch the actors, don't react, or you can react but don't physically touch them. Anyway, this massive guy at the front of the queue, like of the chain of people, obviously went into fight or flight mode, and he pushed me so hard, like, because I ran towards him but I was going to stop, but he just reacted and he pushed me, and I went flying back, thankfully landed on the bed that was behind me. And like, I lay there and I was wearing this mask so I could barely see, and I think I was like slightly stunned by how hard he'd pushed me. Anyway, I went out after they'd left the room, and I went to the main person who was organizing the actors, and I said, this happened and I felt really unsafe. And she said, oh, well, they're not meant to touch anyone. And I said, well, you're putting people into situations where they become scared, and this man just reacted. It's not his fault, but equally, I'm on my own in a room in there. I could have hit my head on the ground. I could have been killed. It was quite serious. And I said, I feel really uncomfortable. There's no panic button in the room. There's nothing. There's just me. Anyway, she's like, oh, well, we're not going to do anything about it. So I didn't feel comfortable. I was like, well, I'm not going to come back to work then. I don't think you're protecting us. And this was a bit long before, people were kind of protected in a bit more way than they are now. And then by me leaving, they changed the rules, and then they put 2 actors at a time in each of the rooms so that, the actors could look out for each other. But I will always remember doing the saw, but then also being thrown onto a bed rather aggressively by someone who I'd scared.
So I know that you didn't have the backing of what would have been, well, your employer at the time.
Yeah. There was, I think the acting world, at least when I was in it, actors were not always treated as well as they were. I mean, right? You hear about all the things that come out now about what's gone on in the industries, and they just didn't really care. And I just wasn't prepared. I mean, I genuinely was really scared when that happened, and I thought, it could have been a lot worse. And actually, one of the girls that was working in this asylum, where she had to run through, like, they all had to run through this asylum, and it's like stroby, flashy lights, and they have to just scream and act insane. She knocked herself out fully, had to get taken to hospital because she ran into a wall. So yeah, it was hopefully they've made better working conditions for the actors now.
Definitely. Well, how did you get into what you do now then? So you've had a background in acting. How did that then lead to is TikTok your first social media venture?
So I have always set up limited companies. So at 21, I set up my first one, and that was in TV production for the fitness industry. So we produced DVDs, because that's how old I am, and mainly in the more unique, sort of unusual fitness world. So pole fitness, circus, like Pilates, which wasn't really big back then, things like that were more alternative. And then I helped produce and direct a feature film called Blood, Sweat and Hot Pants, which was on the competitive world of pole dancing. And that was, I learned all about the industry. And that was when I was doing, after my English degree, and then I did an acting degree. And then alongside that, then started working as an actor in the industry. But the acting world, even back then, was pretty challenging. It is still now, and it was very saturated with people. And I've always been someone who likes to be in control of my destiny. And the acting world, you aren't. So I started to get a bit disheartened. And at the same time, I was doing consulting and working in business, because I had set up various businesses through my life. And then I started working in the domestic recruitment world, and helping a business develop their cash flow. And then what happened next was I had a baby, and I took a break. And some people I'd known in the industry reached out to me and said, "Can you recruit for us?" And I said, "Okay." So anyway, long story short, my company, Polo and Tweed, then was born, and that was in November 2015. And so social media for me had always been kind of either a personal thing, like Instagram, sharing a few family photos. I was of the days of Facebook. I was one of the first to join Facebook when you could only join with a a university email address because when it first came out, you could only join if you had the .ac.uk email address.
Oh,
So I was one of the first to ever join Facebook. Again, revealing my age. And then I set up social accounts for all my businesses. So I had the kind of the brands, and then I had me, but just really personal stuff, like, nothing that only friends would want to see. And then must have been about 2.5 years ago, my company constantly gets approached by the media. I'm in the press a lot, talking to the Times about the world of, nannies and housekeepers and domestic recruitment, because I think people are quite interested by that industry. And we got approached by a company who wanted to produce a TV show with me. And they said, have you got any social presence? And I said, no, like my company, and I've got me. And they said, well, why don't you think about doing something? And I was like, okay, what do I do? And one of my team members said, well, what about TikTok? And I was like, I think it's just for young children dancing. And so, of course, she got out her phone. She's like, no, there's loads of great stuff. And I was like, okay. So I literally, chucked on a bit of makeup and we did a few videos. And then I think on the 13th video, it went viral. And then I think people just really enjoy the etiquette and the lifestyle and what I'm teaching about. And I think hopefully because I don't take myself too seriously and there's a bit of fun with it, that it's not so dry, because I know a lot of people do what I do. And it's not that I do this full time, it's just a passion of mine and kind of have fun with it. So, yeah.
no, your content's brilliant. The first thing I saw of yours was the cream egg, the formal way to eat the cream egg, and I just thought this is just so good. I loved it, honestly.
Yeah, I think people really enjoy the how to eat ones. And of course, how to eat in a formal British setting, a lot of the food is quite straightforward, or not straightforward, but not so interesting. And then at least it's just, it's straightforward. This is how you would eat soup, or this is how you would eat a steak. And then I think it's fun to be a bit more entertaining, or have a bit of humor with, if one is confronted with a Cadbury's cream egg, or spotted dick, which is the one I did a few weeks ago. And everyone's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's a British pudding, it exists.
I enjoyed how to get into a hot tub one as well, because I've actually only ever fallen into a hot tub, so that was interesting.
You can fall, you can roll, you can, like, I wouldn't recommend diving or jumping, 'cause it's a bit shallow. Yeah, those were funny. I think I did how to get in and out of a supercar with heels on, because
Yeah.
I had a Ferrari at the time, and then that went viral, and I was like, oh, and oh, how to walk down stairs in high heels, that went viral. So I was like, okay, this is really interesting. People like the idea of, I guess because I enjoy teaching, maybe, hopefully, that's why people enjoy watching them. I don't really know. I just like making stuff that people enjoy to watch. But have the TikTok algorithms changed for you recently?
It's an absolute nightmare. And I don't know, I've never really been able to work out what the algorithm is, but I don't know if you've noticed or if you've signed up to the change in the creator fund.
No, should I? What's that? What is
So
it?
were you part of the creator fund initially?
I don't know.
It's just TikTok's way of thanking you for your hard work by giving you 20p for every video that you put out. Basically, it was terrible.
Okay.
So I got a notification recently saying that they've switched and they've changed it to this new scheme. And ever since I've joined that, which does pay you slightly more per video or per views or whatever, the views have drastically stopped, because I think
They want you
in
to
essence,
promote it.
well, not even that, but like they would have to, if I did a video and it got like 100,000 views, they would have to pay me a lot more than what they were before.
Oh,
So they've
they're,
stopped pushing it
they're
out.
on shadow banning to
That
stop having to
yeah.
pay out.
So, but I'm like you. I don't. This isn't by any means my job. It is just something that I do because I enjoy to do it. So I don't ever seek to gain anything from it at all. I'm actually terrible at that. Like I do not capitalize on this at all, even though I could, but I don't.
Yeah.
But it is annoying because, it would be nice to get a little reward here and there for our hard work, but no,
Yeah.
they've definitely seen a little way around this.
It's odd because I don't think I've signed up for that, but I've definitely noticed um, a considerable drop off. And what I think is odd is I understand that if you have a proportion of if you have a figure of followers, then a proportion of your followers will watch videos, right? It won't be that every single follower will watch your videos. And I assume some of those followers are bots and not real accounts and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a statistic there as well. But I've looked at other creators who have, a lot, even more, millions and millions of followers. And even them, I've noticed that I think it was around October time last year. So they changed something in their algorithm. And you can see that these creators who have like 10 million followers, they've had like constantly million, 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 million. And then it goes to like 100,000.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense because they're not showing the videos to the people who follow them. And I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure why. Someone told me it was because you have to pay. They want us to pay to promote our videos. But like you, I'm not doing this to be a full-time influencer. So I'm on TikTok. If you're listening to this live, I'm not paying.
No,
Probably
but
in my
it's
zero.
so ridiculous, and I never thought of it from that point, like, because I was just thinking of it, they're not pushing it out to people that don't follow me. It's not going on the For You page, it's just going to my followers. But they have stopped showing it to followers as well.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
No.
I've never understood the algorithm of this app at all. It's bizarre. You
Yeah.
don't know. I think the time you post has a lot to do with it. I think what you post, what you hashtag, what you say, like it's so strange.
Yeah. No, I can't keep up with it. And if it's not your main income, like for you and for me, there's only so much time I can invest in like researching what hashtags I should be doing. I just want to have fun making the videos and putting it out. So yeah. Jade says good evening. Hi Jade. She's cheersing us.
Oh,
We're
cheers.
working our way through. Your
I
wine glass is empty.
No, I've got the bottle on my bedside table. This is like the saddest. I actually am Bridget Jones.
Okay, so American Horror Story. Have you started watching the new series?
I've never seen it. I know. I know. Well, no,
No.
I saw Coven
Okay.
and I liked it, and then I left it, and then from there, all I've ever seen is TikToks of that. Is it Banana Rama,
Oh yeah,
Bobana?
drama with Jessica Lang. What's her
Yes.
name? Jessica? What's her face? Jessica Lang,
Pass.
the older lady who's very glamorous.
I know, yeah, who you mean. But no, I didn't know there was a new series, and that's not something that you need to watch in order, is it?
No, you can watch them standalone. The new series has got Kim Kardashian in it.
Oh, I like her.
I do like her. I'm not quite sure if she can act though.
No, I wouldn't have said so.
Whereas I've seen all of them, all the series, and my favorite one was Hotel because that's got Lady Gaga in it, and she is phenomenal. And it's also got a vampire thing, and as I told you, that was a life goal, aged.
So would that be the one you recommend that I watch?
Yes,
Hotel.
yes. Nado agrees with me that Lady Gaga was amazing. Hotel. That's that I've seen. Speaking of watching things more than once, I've seen that series quite a few times.
To get on that. Now I think about it, I have watched. Is it Freak Show? I've watched that one.
Yes. Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not bad. And also the Asylum one was quite good as well. But Hotel blows them all out of the water. Really good.
I'll
And
get on
Lady
that.
Gaga is so beautiful, and she like
Yeah.
plays this vampiric countess, stunning, and then eats people.
What's that streaming on now? Is it still
Disney.
Disney Plus? I've got that.
Yeah, yeah. Nardo said Freak Show was really gory. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remembered the lobster hands.
Oh, it's been so cool chatting with you. I'm sorry you couldn't see all the comments that have
I
been
know,
coming in.
it's literally just my face and your face and then purple in the background. I can't see anything, but I've had a great time.
It's been so good. I really, really enjoyed speaking with you. And I am seriously 1,000,000% up for doing
We should do that.
the haunted house thing.
Yeah, definitely. But if you even if you ever want to do anything like this again, just let me know. But we should definitely look into that haunted house because it
Yeah.
just
And I'll
sounds
see if
very
I can
first
get us
rate.
on the list to get into a screening premiere for something. So, oh my,
Yeah,
if it's scary, I'm just gonna sit there like hiding behind my champagne glass like this.
it's fine. They usually give the champagne for free, so it's all worth it
Yeah,
at the end of the
they,
day.
they, they do. I'll have to drink like the bottle and then go and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you. It's been so nice to meet you, and really, and I love your channel. So just please keep letting me live vicariously through watching you watch horror movies.
Of course. I don't ever leave this bedroom, so I think I'm like glued to this bed, just with bottles of wine.
Oh, well,
But yeah,
thanks.
no,
I'll
it was
say
lovely
bye
to
to
meet
all
you,
our
and thank
followers
you.
watching. Bye, Jade, Hazel, Josh, everyone, Nado. Good night, everyone. And yeah, nice to see you, Ellis. Have a good rest of your
You
weekend.
too. You as well.
Cool.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.